Good evening, people. Welcome to another edition of Amsterdam Season 2. Tonight, I have another special guest. The title of the show is Who Hurt You? Who hurt you, made fun of you? It's about mental health, as I explained earlier today. And I have a special guest with me today. I have Dr. Teresa Holt with me today. How you doing, Dr. Holt?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. For those who don't know, can you tell us about yourself, your background, your credentials?
I am a licensed professional counselor and I'm also a psychologist. I currently practice in Duluth, Georgia. That's good.
Than just Duluth, Georgia. We got some folks in Duluth for in the group, so um, they might need to come see you. I think their ass all crazy, but that's another
Oh,
story.
okay.
So,
Well,
um,
my website is www.drteresaholt.com,
okay,
and they can also email me at drteresa at att.net.
okay, all right. So we can get right into this. So, um, most people they see mental health basically as just as far as like things that's going on as far as like schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, anxiety. So I want to get into it that a lot of people don't understand that also like eating unhealthy can cause a mental illness as well. Can you explain that to us?
Well, that just goes back from when your grandmother said eat your vegetables and try to drink a lot of water and things like that. People just typically don't really do that the way that they should. So our foods are saturated with all kinds of different byproducts and fats and carbs and things like that, and so it doesn't always get the most healthiest outcome.
Okay. So I guess just when most people think of that, they say as far as just like people that's might be overweight or obese, but there's a lot of people that's walking around that's small,
Right,
that's
absolutely.
actually
Right.
the same
Well,
way.
that's kind of like a myth, but there are a lot of people who are fit, whatever fit means to you, and they just still not healthy. They're drinking lots and lots and lots and lots of coffee, smoking, drinking, doing things that aren't always the healthiest thing. So it just, it varies, but all that plays a part of your mental health. Everything that you put in your body, take into your spirit, take into your manhood, into your body, it shows itself.
All right. So you bring up spirit. So energy, bad vibes.
Hmm.
People say I'm protecting my peace. That is like one of the biggest slogans I've heard in
Right,
2021.
right.
Protecting my peace.
Hmm.
Like I know what it means, but like how does it correlate with, mental health with that?
Well, your peace is like your sanctuary, like whether it be in your home, whether it be just a space in your car, or just anything around you, period. So when people say that, sometimes they're just meaning someone else's aura, someone else's mental health, someone else's just having a bad day can affect you. So that's why a lot of people say, oh, I want to protect my peace. So they choose not to be around that type of person, that type of energy.
Okay. So, when these incidents happen and you have people that I know a lot of people that they suffer from depression. They're the most happiest people outside and they don't like to talk about it. So you being a licensed therapist, like how do you get that out of them to actually give you the problem, like what's going on to make a diagnosis?
Well, people that come to me, they just seem to just tell me everything, sometimes a little too much. So I don't really necessarily have a problem getting them to tell me. The problem is getting an answer. So whether it means medication management, whether it means talking yourself, talking out some things, whether it means getting involved in group therapy, individual therapy, whatever the case may be, is really getting people to actually do something to make their situation better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, they just come tell you I mean, I know I can't ask you certain things as far as that, what they tell you because, HIPAA laws and things like that.
Right. Well, I
Um,
mean, people might say, okay, they come in because they're having problems at work and they really don't like their boss. And I've had some people that has actually plotted to kill their boss. So in that kind of scenario, of course, you got to report it to the authorities, and all those things. So, when you say certain things, you have to actually follow up on it, whether you mean it, whether you have a plan or anything. Just saying that puts you in a certain kind of place. So in those situations, of course, it's very different. You have to do something. I have to do something. So, yeah.
People really come in and and try to kill a boss.
Well,
Is that
that's the
bad?
pressure. So sometimes, let's say your boss, says things to you that really belittle you, make you feel less than, and that's something that happened to you when you was a kid, and your mom said it, and your dad said it, and then here your boss is saying it to you, and it just triggers something sometimes in people that make them just go to a whole nother level. And so, yeah, that happens sometimes.
Mm. Okay, so you go back to so you say people come in about their boss, and I guess what we were saying in the title, like who hurt you. So I'm pretty sure you get a lot of things about like wives and husbands and situations like
Hmm.
that as well.
Right,
So when you come in at a relationship aspect, like how do you approach it where you may say somebody may ask a person who hurt you, even though they didn't hurt you, you just want to know like what triggered you to act this way. Like
right.
how do you get them to actually cope with that mechanism to say, hey, okay, I want to give this person an opportunity, a fair shake,
Oh,
instead of putting all things on the past.
all right. Well, that's the first thing I ask with a couple. So, do you want to make it work? Don't waste my time, your time. Are you serious about making it work? And depending on what they say, we take it to the next level. But most times the issues are, similar: money, sex, communication. Those are the basic things. And people just can't seem to come to a truce sometimes. And so sometimes the best thing is to let it go. But people don't want to work at stuff anymore. I mean, marriage is work. Relationships are work. You just can't think it's just going to be. If you choose to be in a relationship or marriage, it's a job. It's a whole nother job. So if that's what you choose, you got to work on it. You just can't say, nah, I don't like him anymore. After you've married and have children, got bills together, credit together, house together, bills together, you got to try to work something out. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm guessing you figure when you take on those issues and you don't want to work and those pressures come on to you, it could lead to almost suicidal.
Well, that's a whole nother level when you're talking suicidal, but yes, sometimes it can lead to that. So in those cases, you have to, as a therapist or any mental health professional, is develop a safety plan to make sure that they're in a safe place and they know exactly what to do if they become unsafe. Hmm. But
So
sometimes that happens. But I don't think people realize how serious their pressure is until it's at a boiling point, if that makes sense. So
yeah, it
let's say
makes
you just
sense.
come in, we're having relationship problems, but it's just so much more deeper than just your relationship. It's your childhood, his childhood, your children, all kinds of traumas you've had in the past. So it can spiral into something totally out of control if you don't take care of things as they come up.
So if you don't take care of them as why they come up, which you just said baggage, why do you think some people just continue to just try to live life without even exercising their demons or finding themselves?
I think people think it's okay. People rather live in dysfunction rather than trying to work on things. It just becomes like every day to some people.
Hmm. That's
Hmm.
cool, living in dysfunction. So I mean, as far as that, living in dysfunction can I guess could bring out behavioral and emotional disorders.
In some cases, yes. I mean, past trauma can spiral so many different things, but a lot of times people don't want to do the work. That requires you bringing up things that you don't want to talk about. Past issues, current issues, dwelling into things that hurt. So, you know,
Don't mind me, this camera is broke. I'm sorry to be moving it every time, but I stepped on it actually. All right, so we'll hold it right there. Okay, so yeah, so you want to have things that work. As far as that, so I guess we can get deeper into like dissociation disorders.
okay.
Like like how do they come about as well?
Well, I mean, I think if they had a complete step by step how most of these disorders occurred, we'd be rich, we'd be rolling in the money. If you really think
Okay.
back about different disorders that are actually in the DSM, the diagnostic manual,
Mhm.
homosexuality used to be in the DSM. They thought that that was a disorder. You see, so it just really, when you think about where things come from and how they come about, some people believe that you're born with it. It's in the family line, um, and I believe that's true. I believe that is true. It just really depends on who you're asking and what's the frame of reference. So let's say a person is in court for some type of felony. Let's say he broke into a liquor store. Okay, so in
Mhm.
that case, the lawyer or whomever's on the person's side would say, you know what, he has a long history of bipolar. And when he becomes aggressive, he's normally trying to get some alcohol, and that makes it worse. And they give all these different reasons and things on why that occurs. But people use that bipolar diagnosis kind of loosely these days, but it's a very serious diagnosis that really, really needs medication and therapy to get to a better baseline, a better balance.
Okay. So, but you spoke on like just being born like into homosexuality,
Okay, yeah.
but and I'm not going to get deep in this because I mean there's a lot of people in that you know who are with those letters watch the show. Um, so like I feel it's like what's going in the American public now is like they're trying to like push it on us,
I'm sorry, they're trying to.
like push it on us. I
Oh,
mean it's acceptable, but they're trying to like force the
oh,
issue
oh,
like
okay.
this is
Okay.
what you
No,
should
I
do.
okay, so I was just simply, my reference to homosexuality and the diagnostic manual is that years ago that was an actual disorder. That's what was thought of it. But now that's not the case at all. It's been taken out of the manual, and that is not the case. And so I was bringing that to talk about different disorders and different people. And people say, how does it come about and what brings it about? That's a perfect example of something that was thought to be a disorder, but today, right now, it's not. Yeah.
Right.
But no, I hear what you're saying about push it on us and all those type things. I mean, this is the way of the world. People believe what they believe and do what they think is best for them. So I don't think we have the right to pass judgment on anything. So people push all kinds of things on us, to get
Well,
us to kind of sway to their thought process. But it just, I think it's really up to the individual. That's just my thought.
well, yeah. I mean, I get that, but I'm not going to say like like what I just said. But I'm just saying it's kind of it seems like it's being forced because in Illinois there's an actual class now to teach the history of it.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's like to teach the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even like last night watching, what Dave Chappelle said, and this is what I'm quoting off of him. What he said was basically, you could kill somebody, nobody cares, but if you say anything about LGBTQAI,
Mm-hmm.
hurt a feeling,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes an uproar. Is enough to cancel with the whole cancel culture.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
So would you consider that? Well, not homophobia or homosexual. Would you consider this new age cancel culture being a part of like mental health issue? The
I
whole
don't. I mean,
cancel culture.
I think that mental issues, our mental being, is a part of everything. Absolutely everything. What you think, what you feel, how you respond, your mental is a part of everything. But I will say, in reference to gay and lesbian people who I treat, the biggest thing that I've come across is people who want to like come out to their families, and just that whole process of how do you do it and what do you say and will they accept me, and go through years sometimes of just feeling out of sort, and then they go through all of that sometimes, and they're accepted, or sometimes they're not. So that's the only part that I can say that I've played a really big part in, with the people I've been serving.
Well, but there's always one person in the family that's like, I already knew, move it right along.
Or better yet,
You
you
know,
going there.
and this is a true story. Like
Right.
when my cousin came, and this is true story, and I always share with my fans true stories. And this is true story. My cousin came out. My grandmother was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
next."
Right.
Like
Right.
we knew, like what? There's nothing. It's nothing surprising to us. We've been new.
Right.
You walked around carrying that baggage for no reason.
Right.
Because what happens is, I guess, let me see. I could bring up a couple, I guess, a couple stars in like in football and basketball and
Okay.
how they perceive and they go in here and do this, but you live a life inside the gym and you live a life outside the gym.
Okay.
So you parading around like I'm normal, I'm heterosexual when I'm with this group, but when I go out, this is who I'm going to be,
Mhm.
and I guess probably before maybe a couple years ago that the whole council culture was you can't have homosexual men in professional sports,
Mhm.
but now it's okay, and my thing based on that is I don't care what you do,
Mhm.
just get here and do your job.
Okay.
That's like, yeah, outside, and I think we put too much pressure on it as humans. Is just like
Right.
you are what you are,
Right.
but I don't have to be your friend. I'm not, afraid of you. I mean, no, I'm not saying like that. I don't have to be your friend because everybody's not made to be liked.
Right.
Or not. Well, I just might not vibe with you. I should say.
Okay.
I respect what you do,
Okay.
but okay, what you telling me is just like I'm not. That's just not me. We live in two different worlds, but I respect your world.
Okay. Well, you said something. You said normal. Oh my gosh. You said something about a person, being normal on one part of their life, and then they want to go to another part where they're, not so normal or normal. So I mean, that is some people find that so offensive. But if that's a viewpoint, that's a viewpoint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, some people really feel like, oh my God, what do you mean normal? I'm normal. You're not normal, you know? But it's a matter of preference, what people think is really going on, to be honest with you.
But I don't want to take it out of context and
Mhm.
saying normal like you're not normal. No, you're normal. It's just that
Okay.
you have different views than I do.
Right.
You're normal.
Exactly.
You got 64 chromosomes just like I do. You're normal. You're normal, but
Well, I don't know.
everybody have
That's not
different views.
always the case. My goodness, the things that go on. My gosh, the
I
different
mean, just
operations and
like
things. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you live in Duluth, Georgia, and you might like pig feet. I don't.
But
You right.
okay, so because I like pig feet and you don't, why are we different? Why are we going different circles and stuff?
Well, because where you eat at, I might not want to eat that day.
No, but I bring my food. So now what?
Well, I just hope you got your own hot sauce. I just hope you got your own hot sauce. But I want to go back to the one of the things that I hear the most about people who when they're suffering from like depression and things like that,
Right.
people will normally come to them and say things like it's all in your head. Come
Right.
on, things could be worse. You know, this too shall pass, which is one of the biggest things that's ever said.
Right.
Uh, you have a great life and you always seem happy.
Right.
And when you think about, the actors and actresses that have been diagnosed with depression, and
Hmm.
a lot of them are comedians.
Right. Right. Yes.
So a lot of them are comedians, and it's like we walk outside and we put this whole front on, but when we go, but we really
Hmm.
crying inside and dying inside.
Hmm.
So like how well, I mean, I know you do it for profession, but how could you get someone outside of profession who has no training or no skill just to walk up to their friend and just like kind of get them to open up a little bit?
Well, one thing I would say, first of all, we need to check on our sisters and brothers more. And our sisters and brothers can just be anybody, okay? So, one big thing is if a person is not sleeping properly,
Hmm.
not good. If a person is not eating properly, not good. In fact, when you go to the doctor, if someone comes in and say, I'm out of it, I feel like I'm just depressed and I don't want to live anymore. One of the main things that you ask, well, have you been sleeping? And you'll find out they say, no, I've been up for the past 2 days. That's not normal. You have to sleep. You'd be surprised how people just are up constantly, never stop. And so that's a big part of mental health. And the same thing is making sure that you get something to eat. So if you have no background at all and you notice that your friend is just seems just out of it, can't just constantly just not able to relax, sleep, lay down, that's a telltale sign, as they say. So if those things are happening, you might need to see if you can help them get some help, some professional help.
So you talking to a person who doesn't sleep right now.
Okay,
I
so
don't.
now when you say you don't sleep, are you getting like little cat naps, 1 hour, 2 hour?
I probably say on average I sleep maybe 4.5, 5 hours a night.
Okay, but that's sleep though. Some people get nothing.
But I mean, I
That's
get you.
not
So some
enough.
people, I know it's not enough. I know it's not enough. It's pretty amazing. And I think it's like I think it's. I always look at it like the older I get, it's like during the week I don't want to wake up for work. I'm tired. But when the weekend
Okay,
hit, I pop up like 6:30, 7 o'clock, like it's nothing, refreshed.
okay. So
So I
when does
don't know
that
what it's
end?
about.
Like, can you do that? Can you do that all 2 or 3 weeks without saying, okay, I think I need to maybe re-energize myself?
No, I know I can't because this Saturday that just passed, I slept basically 23 hours on Saturday.
Okay, but that's re-energizing yourself from
Well,
all the
yeah,
lack of sleep you got the whole week.
yeah. I mean, I get that, but it's just like you just the brain. I guess I should say I got to learn how to cut the brain off. Sometimes I don't know how to cut it off.
Okay, first of all, turn your phone off. Yeah.
That's all. That'd be off too.
Okay, the phone off. The lights are off.
Lights off too.
No caffeine. At least 5 hours before you went to sleep.
Now,
Oh,
doctor. Oh man.
ah,
Oh no.
you know what I'm saying? We know what to do. We just don't do it. We know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just kind of it's just in you. It's just stuck in you to do these things. I mean, I'm pretty sure I talked to an older guy before, and he told me if you cut sugar out your diet, you'll
Mm-hmm.
lose like 30 pounds easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Well, I
told him
mean,
go worry about his
so
business.
I think it's more than just cutting sugar. I mean, I'm obviously a plus size diva. I can't say
Okay.
people automatically assume that you eat a lot, but actually, it's the other way around. A lot of plus size people don't eat enough, but when we do eat, we eat all kind of nonsense. You understand what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
can't. It just. I think everybody's body is different, but yes, definitely cutting out sugar would be a good thing. But sugar's in everything. It's in bread. It's in chips. It's in every little knickknack. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You don't even think that way,
Uh,
but it is.
I
But
got
if you
you.
get a grip on that, when you feel better, you look better. When you look better, you feel better. You know how people say, ooh, she don't ever look like she depressed, but sometimes people are fighting, literally fighting not to be depressed. So they make sure they get up, they put it together, and they're good. So everybody
Okay.
that's looking all low, that doesn't mean that they're always low. They just sometimes just don't really care like that. You know.
Okay. So okay, got you. So we have a term that people use, so loosely, but I don't think they really know the meaning of it. Like the term "I'm having a nervous breakdown."
Yeah.
Like, could you describe
Yeah.
that for us?
Well, I mean, I don't. I've always, and I say this to people all the time. You have to be careful what you say, particularly around me, because I'll write that paper so you can go get you some help. But people always say that, oh, I just want to kill myself, or I'm having a nervous breakdown. First of all, I believe you should have to be careful on what you speak on yourself. That's one. That's just my thought. But
Hmm.
sometimes the pressure is just that deep for people that they just don't know what else to say. So if they're saying help me, try to help. So why is it you're having a nervous breakdown? What's going on? Is it work? Is it home? Is it children? Why do you feel that way? And then sometimes people are really just right at that point. And the fact that they reached out to you means that they trust you enough to tell you what's going on with them. So if you feel comfortable, just ask them exactly what that means, please do. Another thing you can also give them is in Georgia, we have the crisis access line. Do you know about that number?
So I know the one in Maryland. I don't know the one in Georgia.
Okay. So in Georgia, it's 1-800-715-4225. And that's the Georgia Crisis Access Line. So anyone can call that line and ask for any kind of mental health that you need. Now, if you call that line and you say that, you want to hurt yourself and you have a plan, somebody's coming to where you are. So know that. Okay. But if you're calling looking
Okay.
for a resource referral, I need a therapist, I don't have any insurance, they can connect you with someone in your area that can help you. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about panic attacks. Ava says panic attacks.
Hmm. So,
So.
yeah, well, that's a serious. People minimize panic attacks, but when I tell you, you feel like you're about to die, you can't breathe, you can't catch your breath, you're sweating, you're just really, really out of it in some people's situations. So, um, panic attacks are real, and if they're not treated properly, it can turn into things that are deeper. So yes, most people think you have to have medication. Sometimes you really do need medication, but if not, if you just learn how to cool yourself down, find out what relaxes you, what helps you get yourself together, sometimes that can
Mhm.
help. Hmm.
Okay. So I was going to ask you. I know the main physical sign is like heavy breathing and sweating. That's like
Some people,
two of the main
yeah,
symptoms.
some people refuse to drive because of it, won't get in the elevator. So it spirals. So let's say it may just start out with something like, you think it's bad luck to step on the cracks in the road or whatever. So you always see people skipping over the cracks, right? So then maybe it might get a little bigger than that. So then, they don't want to ride an elevator or the escalator. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You can avoid that. Then it gets a little bigger where they won't drive, they won't fly, they won't leave the house. Okay.
Okay.
So that's a progression, and you need to try to treat it earlier. And what happened with a lot of the clients that I see with this COVID, they didn't really leave the house anyway.
Mm.
So that didn't really affect them. But when it got to a place where they really, really couldn't leave the house, it was just really just out of control. Afraid to go out to get something to eat. You're ordering in some cases, but a lot of recipients, don't have cash or don't have credit, and so they're not able to order the way that they normally would order. So it spiraled into a lot of different things. When people have anxiety and panic attacks and depression, and they couldn't leave the house, wouldn't leave the house, and with this pandemic, it just kind of spiraled even worse.
So okay. So now that puts into another category. You have those who were comfortable. That was their zone. I don't care. I don't have to go out. So the
Right,
whole 1 year basically they were cool. Like
right.
I only got to go out of here if I need to get some. But now you have the ones that are become claustrophobic. They gotta be on the go. Like, have you seen any of them through the whole COVID? Like, I can't do this. I can't do that.
Well, a lot of relationships broke up. A lot of relationships built. A lot of people made a lot of money during COVID. Lots of money. I know counselors did. I know the people that sell different things online, they did. So, it was a two-edged sword in a sense. But what COVID forced a lot of people to do is to stop and really look at themselves. And
Okay.
people don't want to do that. Mm-mm. People don't want to see themselves who they really
Well,
are.
and that's I have a friend. Her mother is a marriage counselor, and she said her desk was full with divorces because these people really didn't know who they married because it was
Wow.
we were just passing by. Like I work at night, you work during the day. So when you're coming in, I'm leaving out, and when
Right,
you're
right,
leaving, I'm leaving out. So
right,
it was like you didn't really know who you were
right,
with anymore because you
right.
just had a I guess you just had a partnership were based on passing by and just paying bills.
Okay. So in that case, so now what? So now you know your partner. Now you realize, I don't like the way you look, or you smell really bad, or things that you can work through, right?
Right.
You would hope you could work through it, but a lot of people just weren't willing to. A lot.
Well, I guess I mean from your perspective, I guess that they're saying that they won't is too much now because we done been together for I don't know how long, but I really didn't know you. I just said yeah, yes, because in this age, and I totally believe this. A lot of people are the divorce rate is high. A
Yeah.
lot of people are getting married just for the show.
Okay. Yeah, that
So,
happens a lot of times. The show, or some people think it's just the next thing to do. You know, you're supposed to be married. But I'm just saying,
well,
I found that if they weren't all horrible stories, some people really got closer. Some families just really connected. They learned to just like the simpler things in life, have camp outs in the living room and all kinds of things like that. So, I mean, some things really did work to the good. But, those things you always pushed under the rug was staring you in the face. So, you
well,
had to deal with some things.
yeah, but that was the element that family was. Back
Right.
then, we ate together. We watched TV together. We did stuff. I mean, whether we did yard work together or we went somewhere. Now it seems like the family now is just too busy. Everybody got to go. Everybody's on the move. Like I know my grandmother, rest her soul.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather retired her at 24.
Wow.
At 24 years old age, he said, "Take care of these kids. I got us."
Mm-hmm.
And he did that till he passed away in 1991. And she passed away in 2010. But and that's just the thing that he did. When 24 years old, he came home and said, "You don't have to work no more. Raise these three kids. That's it."
I was
And
talking to
now,
my girlfriends the other day about grandmas are not grandmas anymore, honey.
mhm,
Grandmas is going to get all those tummy tucks and all them surgeries folks is going to go get. That's what they doing. Okay?
but you
And so they're
consider
not
that a
trying to
mental?
keep your kids. They're not trying
But
to cook any cakes. They're not trying to keep anything together. They're just hanging out like you hanging out. And I don't think that's
but
a
would
bad
you?
thing, but
Right? But would you consider that? Would you associate that with like a kind of a mental illness, or self conceptualized, because all the BBLs that's happening and all of that stuff? Would you consider that because you looking in the mirror and realizing you might not like how you look, or
I mean,
like,
everybody want to be young. Nobody want to be old anymore, honey. Nobody wants to
or
be
is it
old.
society's feeding it on you that you're supposed to be a certain way?
Well, I mean, I think that everybody wants to be young. Everybody wants to be healthy. And I mean, I don't think anything is wrong with that. If you choose to do those things and make yourself feel better, and that works for you, fine. The problem is if it affects the rest of your family. So if you're going to get all these things done and your children don't have any shoes and those type of things, that's about prioritizing. But if you have your stuff together and that's something you want to do and that makes you happy, why not? I don't have a problem with that. It changed life. Things have changed. Life is changing. The world is changing. Grandma is not grandma anymore, baby. She's just
Well,
not.
you gotta realize now, grandma like 32, 33 now,
That's right. That's right. Even
and
some of the
grandma
older
has to
grandmamas up
live.
in their 60s and 70s, they still don't want to be 60 and 70. They want to look 30.
Well,
And they want
you
to be
know,
that. They want to do things, the way they want to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But it just, to me, it just takes away, that old school feel. I'm going to grandma's house. She's going to make sure everything is all right. She's going to have some cooking on the stove. All that. You don't see that as much. And there was some
mm,
comfort that came with that. There was some sense of belonging that came with that. You understand what I'm saying? But
I get
it's
what you're
just
saying.
not quite like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree that grandmas, are not grandmas no more. So I got another question. Like I guess it's part of a well, it is a human emotion. You
Hmm.
just find people just actually just crying for no reason. Like, is that another like a symptom to bipolar or something, or this depression or something like that?
Well, I think a lot of people, I think crying is a release. I don't
Okay,
necessarily think of it as bad, as negative, as something is wrong with you. I think in our culture sometimes it's viewed that way. You better not let them see you cry. You better hold it in, whether it
right.
be your friend, your boss, or whatever, because it's a sign of weakness to some people. But if you're sure about yourself and you need that release, you better get them. You better get them tears out. You could be at a break of what you said, a nervous breakdown. And if
Yeah,
that's going to release that from you, you better cry. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
I don't believe that that's a part of weakness. I think that letting yourself get to a boiling point, you hold it in, hold it in, hold it in, hold it in, and then something happens that you do or say something that you can't take back that change your life forever. Now that's to me a problem. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we have all this now. I seen Black Marvel put it up about social media clout. Like, how we have a lot of, cyberbullying. Uh, Kids are killing themselves, from cyberbullying. Like anybody with a keyboard and a camera can be whatever they want to be. Like, have you ever had any children come in to talk about, like, I'm in cyberbully, like social media, like,
Mm-hmm. Um, Not so much. I've had some bullying a little bit, but I've seen more young girls exposing their bodies on social media, trying to, look like the average young lady with, what the young girl told, a bubblicious booty and all this type stuff. I think that
okay,
parents should be held accountable for monitoring their children on social media. I
okay,
just feel strong about that. I mean, you have to try your best to safeguard your children. I know kids can have a phone. I know they go to their friend's house, but I just believe as a parent, you should do everything that you can within yours, as a parent, to safeguard them from those things. You have to talk to them about it, but you should be the one as a parent to tell them about those things, and so they can ask questions and things of that nature. You shouldn't wait until it's too late, and then they think they know everything, and they're on social media, and then they're caught into a bad place. And that also happens
well,
in schools. People, they don't really look at things the way that they should with children and bullying and things of that nature. Um, we were taught if somebody hit you, you better hit them back. In fact, knock them out. That's how we were taught, right?
yeah,
But
right,
no, you do that today, that's a crime. You go to juvenile jail for hitting another child. You understand what I'm saying?
well,
So communication is
yeah,
key.
yeah, okay, yeah, communication is key. Now here's the kicker: some parents aren't parents anymore; they're friends of the children.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, like, where do you find like who's the adult? I've seen some kids run run a household and they don't work nowhere, don't pay no bills. Like, you
I
gonna
mean,
tell
I
me
think
what we
people
doing
take
in
it
here?
overkill. I think it's overkill either way. I think that another one of my young friends said that, kids are people too, right? And so if that's the
Hmm.
case, and we know that's the case, we do want to hear them out. Like, we do want to not just be dogmatic in the way that we raise our children, okay? But there
Hmm.
should be a balance. Children should not be using profanity towards their parents. Children should
Right.
not be hitting their parents. Parents should not be afraid of their children. So, that there should be a balance in there. There are situations, however, when your child has severe mental illness or severe developmental delays. Those are different circumstances, and they need help and supports to help them be able to maintain their child, in the home. So that's a different circumstance there.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So, yeah, and at Black Marv, I saw that too. The whole TikTok challenge for this month, slap the teacher. I'm pretty sure you've seen that going around on
I've
social
heard
media.
that. I've heard that, and getting on those crates and all that crazy carrying on. I don't understand that. But I mean,
See,
so
that had to be a
okay,
mental illness right there,
okay.
climbing on them
So where's the
crates.
leader? Where's the leader in that though? we have to teach we have to teach our children. We have to support each other and being a leader. So why would I follow you and slap the teacher? Why would I follow you and get on these crates and you saw it happen over and over and over and over again? I mean, there just has to be a line where you say, okay, enough. I'm not doing that.
Well,
No one
and
does anybody want to take the lead to be the adult in some situations like that?
I,
Am I
I'm
wrong? What do you think?
no, I don't think you're wrong, but and I've talked about it with some friends of mine over the weekend about the slap the teacher. You gonna slap the wrong teacher? Somebody's gonna get hurt, and it's
Worse
sad
than
to
that, that's a
say,
crime. That's a crime.
yeah,
Come
this
on
is a
now.
crime, but
Now, some children, I will say this, and I've seen this. Some children are provoked by some of our leaders. So I get that. But even in that, it's not that child's role to try to figure that one out. That's why you tell your parent, tell a teacher, tell somebody else what's going on. Nobody should be provoked enough to feel to want to slap anybody, particularly in the school system.
okay.
You
And
know?
yeah, I got you, and
I hear
I gotta ask. Go
I
ahead, I'm
hear
listening.
I hear you. I hear you
No,
loud
I
and
gotta
clear.
ask you
People are just
because
not
this
going
is
to
a
have
hot
it.
topic.
Hmm.
This is a hot topic, and you are in this profession about Mr. Robert Kelly. That Selena Johnson came on TV and said basically he should not be jailed. He needs professional help. He needs to be see a therapist, psychiatrist, or something like that.
Is
Now
he?
you're in that field.
Is he
That's
seeing
what she
one?
said. I don't know, huh?
Is he seeing one while he's incarcerated?
I don't know. They say he doesn't deserve jail time. He needs to have mental. He needs to have mental health.
Well, if he did what everyone is saying he did, clearly that's jail time. But that's the only thing about being in jail. You're not always rehabilitated. You see?
Okay.
So if you're not rehabilitated, whenever you get out, if you get out, the likelihood of you going back to what you've done was is pretty high. So
Right.
I do believe he needs some therapy. No one ever really talked about his childhood for real, like really found out like what happened with him. I heard some things, but I just don't think people are just born that way, whatever that way is, to just be bad, do wrong. Some people say I hear the old people say people were born to go to hell. So I don't, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Mm.
What you gonna do? But no, I think he does need rehab. I don't think rehab over jail time. How long has he been in jail now? I haven't kept count on that.
I don't know. Maybe about 2 years now, 3 years. I don't remember.
Hmm. I don't know. That's that one, and then the Bill Cosby one. Just all of those different things in the media. Everybody puts their spin on it, but the bottom line is, if you weren't in that room, you don't know. I don't know. I don't like to
Well,
put my mouth on something I don't know 100% about.
I get you. I totally get you about that. But now I just wanted to bring that up because that was actually in the media today that she stated that like he doesn't deserve jail time. He deserves to be go home and be rehabilitated by a psychiatrist or therapist. I'm like,
Okay, so what about all the other people and what they said? So does that discount their testimony? When you think about it
shouldn't.
that way. So I hear her part, but what about all the other people and their account of what happened? You see what I'm
This is true.
saying? It's just
Right.
it's just one of those things. But I just want, if I can ever just say, what I really want from mental health, like as I begin to, still work in this field, I just want people to recognize that, it's not about being crazy. It's about working with what you got, whatever that is, and getting help. Getting help with, to cope and deal and live and thrive and be the best person you can be with what you got. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear. That just
To mean
work
you
with that.
give
Now
up.
there's enough.
To mean you're isolated or nobody cares about you. You just do the best you can. And if you can't do it, you get some help. We in America, it's free. You get free help. My tax dollars
So
pay for help.
so okay. So now we talking about getting help, but it's not normal in the black culture for us to go get help. We're
I
not
don't
supposed
know.
to let our business
I don't
outside.
know. I see more and more this whole reality TV and all this. These people want this therapy stuff now. I see it even more. I used to feel that way. What I do notice though, if I get someone, if a man calls me, I immediately got to get the help because men don't necessarily, you know, get to that point. They just blow it off. So if I get a call from a man, I will try my best to put to see the man because men are different with the help. But I'm seeing a lot of people like the therapy thing, like my therapist, and people seem to like that here lately, with this whole reality show stuff going on. But are they really getting the true help, or they just coming to chit chat? See, that's the thing. Not saying therapy can't chit chat can't help, but do they really want to dwell into the things that really their traumas and things that make them really be the person who they are and the person who they don't want to be? That's the question.
I
Mm-hmm.
got you. When you bring up men, and
Yeah.
we are told from boys, to be strong, to show no weakness. So it's like I don't know, like if any woman's listening right now, that if we vent to you, that is basically like, I that's top notch. That is rare. If he vents to you, like you're someone special in his life,
Right.
because we're not told to that, and I don't think. I don't have a problem with going, sitting in the office and laying on the couch and talking to you. I don't have a problem with that. But if I need to help, I need to help. But if we're just built to just hold it in, and and one day we'll just crack.
Right. And that's what you don't want to happen. So men that actually make the call and say they want to come to therapy, they at that right at that little crack spot right there. And they're
Yeah.
not gonna keep calling you. They're gonna call you 1 or 2 times at most, and then that's it. And so, but when they come in and you actually talk to them, they are really at that breaking point. And I don't think women really realize it. Some people think, oh, sometimes the nagging or whatever, they think that's small, but that can be not the real issue, but that pushes some people over the edge. You understand? So I
I
mean,
totally.
we just need to pay more attention to our loved ones. Our men, just pay more attention. And if they need a quiet spot, give it to them, please. Because you don't know the different stressors. You guys go through a whole different level of stressors than most women do.
So break it down, the different structures between men and women for me, if you can.
Well, so I think that well, I've seen so many different role reversals lately. I've seen women that come in that's acting like the dude and the dude like the woman. So it's just there's so many different things going on out here today. But when I think about stressors, it for the let's say the typical supposed to be people say role model of a man. So that means he's making more money, he's paying the bills, he's trying to make sure everything flows within the household. That's stressful. He's trying to
Mm,
make sure you have all the little bags and you won't, and the little things you might want extra in the home for the children and yourself. That's pressure. Financial pressure is a big one, a real big one. He's trying to please you. He might have high blood pressure and diabetes, and his sexual performance isn't the same. That's a pressure. You understand?
right.
So there are lots of things that go on in relationships that sometimes we just push under the rug, but we need to try to address them before things blow up.
Mm.
So
So,
saying things or are people making comments that you want to talk about?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm listening. I got their comments
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, I went down. But, you say the stresses, that's the stresses of life. But is another hot topic that came on. There's a TikTok video that went viral, and this lady proposed to a man. She proposed to this guy, and he just walked away.
Mm-hmm.
He just walked away, didn't say anything. And the
Mm-hmm.
father tried to fight him, whatever. He did it to you. You want to do that to my daughter, first and foremost. So with that being held right there, like a gender reversal, a role reversal as normal, a man should actually ask to marry a woman, not the other way around. But by her asking him, do you think she'll be scarred for life? And because he just never said anything, he just left.
So, I mean, she was definitely born a woman. He was definitely born a man. For
Yes,
sure. Okay. So,
and
were they
she
dating? What was
got
the
down on one
context?
knee.
I mean, what was the
Huh?
context? I don't even know. Were they dating a long time or they have children
Yeah, they were
together?
dating a long time. She asked to marry him. Yeah, no, they didn't have any kids together.
Oh, okay. I'm old school when it comes to that, and maybe that's not good, but there is no way I'm getting on one knee to propose to anybody. That's me. I just think as a woman, what happened to the man chased the woman, and I mean, they just I don't think that that's the best thing. And it's vice versa. So let's say if it was the man that proposed and then she walked away, so the man could be scarred. So I mean, in that sense, I think hurt goes both ways. But for me, I just think that some things, I don't think that she should have set herself up like that. That's just me. That's how I feel. Um,
Okay.
would she be scarred for life? I don't know. I think some therapy can help her, and it may have just been embarrassing to the young man. Everybody doesn't deal with things the same way. So it might not be a definite no. Did he just say no? Did he say H no? I mean, what
He
happened?
didn't say anything.
I mean,
He
but
just left.
his body language saying what? I mean,
He just rolled out. He just turned around and just left.
what was his national? What were their nationalities?
They were black.
Both were.
Yes.
They were like young.
Yes.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
So
they were young.
what does that do to young people looking at that though? See, that's the thing.
Um,
Those that kind of stuff affects people. People say, "Well, dang, look how he did her." I think that was
Mm.
disrespectful. Why would you do that to her? What about baby? Just
Well,
no. Get up, baby. Let's talk about it. What about do something? He just walked away. Oh boy.
yeah, he just walked away. Totally, just walked away and just said,
And
"Hey,
what did
well, I
she?
guess yeah." She didn't do anything. She
Did
just
she
sit there.
cry?
But I mean, it could have been staged. I don't know, because
Okay.
a lot of stuff was staged. So it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was another young lady there that left with him. I forgot about that part.
Oh really? Oh, see now. What? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So that's traumatic. So now that's gonna mess. That's not good. It's not good.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah, that's what happened.
now I try not to keep up on all of that, like that kind of stuff, like that, because that'll mess with your
Hmm.
psyche. I don't like that. Hmm.
Well, it will mess with your psyche, but sometimes, I mean, I guess,
Okay, so if a
I,
woman proposed to you, you'd be okay with that? I don't know your situation. I don't know.
no, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't
Okay,
be. I wouldn't be. I
but she
wouldn't
would
be.
know that
Because
about you, right?
she would know that. She would know that. Like, I was raised on to handle, if I can handle all the bills, handle all the bills. If I can. If I can't, I got to knock out the bigger bills as far as like the mortgage, the rent, um, whatever else that's huge. Like the little amenities, you could take care of, like internet, cable, your cell phone, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
That that's what I was raised to do. I watched my grandfather for, well, he doesn't work no more, but I watched him for like 30 something years just
Wow.
walk in, hand my grandmother some money, and go this way and come back out, and she'll hand him something like an allowance. Like, this is long as he had enough to get his cigarettes, his naughty head, which is Seagram's gin, and that was it. Long as he had enough to get gas, Seagram's gin, and cigarettes, you heard no complaining from him.
Okay. And she didn't
That
work,
was
right?
that. No, my grandma worked.
And she worked. Okay.
She worked, but her money went towards nothing but her stuff.
That's what's up. So,
That
and
she
you
wanted to
believe
do.
that today? You still believe that?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I believe that. Like, I'm not gonna have you. My thing is this, and this may go a little different way. And I've told, my sisters this, and I've told them this, and I always say, like, you shouldn't be having sex with that man if he can't help
Hey, say that.
you. So I
Say
always tell them that, like, if
yes.
you can't call him in the middle of the night and say, I need 20, $30, $100 for something,
Mm-hmm.
you should not be doing anything with him at all.
Okay, so you're gonna
Just
bring this up at the end. Okay, so then check this out. So why is prostitution so bad then? So why the chicks that say I'll have sex with you, but you're gonna pay my light bill, gas bill, water bill? You see? So it's just
yeah.
this fine line. I have clients on both ends that say I'm not gonna be stupid. I'm gonna make sure I get mine. Then the woman said, "Well, I just like sex like he likes sex. Why we just can't have sex?" But the same situation, middle of the night, your car broke down, you're stranded, and nobody come to get you, and you spend all your energy, time, and body on this other person. You see? But the other
Hmm.
chick that's getting the money up front, she's considered the bad person. Hmm.
Right.
Well, see, you the one brought
But
this up.
that, no, because just because it's say 10 o'clock, don't mean it's over at 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. But you
So
understand what I'm
we,
saying, though?
yes.
That's a lot. That's a big struggle for some women. A lot of women. I'll even take myself. I'm straight independent. Been independent all my
Hmm.
life. That doesn't mean I don't want anyone to come in and necessarily take care of me. But if you're not there, what am I gonna do? I mean, what
Right.
what is there left to do? And there's a lot of women like myself. You're single. You're sufficient, and men just see you different. Like, well, people have been knowing me for years and thought I was married with like 3 kids.
Mm.
Never took the time to see because you seem like you so together, but everybody wants to be involved with somebody on some level. Then the other young
Right.
lady who's constantly giving and going, and she's still not satisfied. And the reason
Right.
why is men like you, upright, upstanding men, far in between. At least it appears to be.
No, no, that's the truth. Because we don't win. and
What do
that's what I was
you
saying
mean?
too. Nice guys finish last, and I'm probably going to upset some people out here tonight. Right now, I'm probably getting ready to say,
Nice guys finish last. Why is that?
it's just the old cliche. But it looks like this. It goes like this when he's been trying to get to know you for the longest time, and you go through whatever you go through, have 100 kids, and whatever. Now all of a sudden you want to come back around. It plays a part because it's like look at high school for
Wow.
example. Look at high school for example. Look at high school for example.
Okay.
Star athletes, right?
Okay.
Athletes get their pick of the litter. The normal guys really don't get that pick of the litter. They don't get that pick of the litter till they go to like they 10-year, 15-year reunion.
Okay, I would throw it at you the same way. I'll throw it to you whole the big girl thing. The big girls don't become the pick of the litter because everybody wants the girl with the, is it 25, small waist, big booty. So not until they get that woman cheat on them, take them all through all kind of problems and changes and things like that. Then have about 5 kids with her. She done left you. You paying all this child support. Then you say, oh, let me go back over there and see what's going on. Well, oh, she got it going on. Oh, you see? So why do we miss each other? I don't get that. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. The same
Well,
thing
yeah,
you're talking about is the same thing with the woman. It's on the flip side.
yeah, I get it, and like you just said, the big woman. That's some of the problems they go through, but they end up, after I guess after he's been traumatized, like you said, and been whatever, child support, whatever children, he goes ahead and now he wants to come back to that place. I think both individuals are blinded because you really don't want to see like the inside of that person, of that person, how they
Come
make you
on now.
feel.
It's
You,
the
you go for the
inside.
trophy. You go for the trophy. You go for the trophy.
I'm not
A
saying
lot of
trophies
people
don't
out
have
here.
an inside. Let's get that straight. But
No,
people
trophies do have
don't
inside.
look. They don't try to, instant gratification. People are not taking time to get to know people.
Yes,
Just
I
don't. They
mean,
don't want.
don't
They see it. They like it. They go for it. So
don't get me wrong. Physical attraction is the first thing. That's always going to be the first thing.
right.
But when it becomes now, you have to sit and get to know a person. Now you can become unattractive easily of how you may think or the habits that you may have, and the person that you never thought about, being with, hooking up with, might be the perfect person for you. They might look out for you. They may call you when you sit, come over, bring you stuff, do this for you and do that stuff for you. But you might not be physically attracted to her or him. But eventually, you're going to see things differently as we grow older.
Because physical attraction changes. Hmm.
It
Things that you
does.
thought turned you on as you get older, that thing a whole different ball game. You be like, oh snap, whoa, oh that worked, okay. And you don't even think that way when you're in your 20s. Hopefully by the time you get your in 30s, your 40s, that you know what you want, or at least think you have an idea. But and people that started out that way, attraction and trophy, they're still together sometimes because they grow together. You see what I'm saying? So it's not either or, but it's
Yeah,
just about
it can't
knowing
cancel.
yourself and your mental. Are you able to mentally be with that person? That person stimulates you in a conversation. Is it more than just the physical? That's what keeps you.
Okay. Chauncey stated, many are blinded by the physical appearance without viewing the three most important: spiritual, emotional, and mental.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle said, people are self-serving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and that's all true. But I still comes down to it. I think it is displayed by what you go through a phase of like what others are going to think. I think
Even
that
right
that plays a
now in
part
your
in it
in
as
your life
well.
right now, you still feel that way?
Hell no, I don't
No,
feel like that right now.
so make preference to it. So you're saying like maybe in your 20s and 30s, you think about what other people think?
No, 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 not in my 20s. I probably did.
Okay.
As my 30s now, and I could care less. And I'm pushing 40. No, I could care less
Okay.
about what you think because as long as the person in the mirror is happy,
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters to me. And the person that I'm with, as long as she happy, that's all that matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not sitting out here on no Romeo and Juliet shit where I'm gonna tear apart my whole family just because you don't like the person. But I will say this though, and every man that's watching probably can agree to this and attest to this. For some reason, mother always knows. It's- and it brings back, it triggers a story in my mind. I thought my girlfriend when I was 18, I thought the world of her, most beautiful girl in the world I ever saw in my life. Mother kept telling me she ain't nothing, she ain't, blah blah blah.
You
And
ain't
after
nothing.
like, yeah, I mean, she said some other words into it, but
Okay,
I know she's watching, so she's probably get ready to comment.
okay,
So
okay.
it was just like after that, it was like she just knew.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just something like that. Mother's intuition for their sons, like she ain't for you.
Okay.
I think when you get a mother to say, and my homeboy just told me this over the weekend. He's like, my mother never liked none of my girlfriends until this one came. She's like, I like her,
Mm-hmm.
and he married her, and he married her.
Okay, so they still together?
Yeah, yeah,
So
they still
okay,
together.
okay. What if you don't have a mother like that? And that's the case for a lot of
Um,
people. Everybody ain't got that soul searching, looking into the spirit, praying to God about your mate, your mate. You
right.
understand what I'm saying? And so, what if so in a lot of cases, that's your time. So, like a little fast forward, some mothers don't want to let go their son to nobody. Girl could be totally together, and they don't want to do it. And so it just really depends on the situation. And look, and the mental psyche of the people you're talking about. You know.
Right, right. Because they always say,
But the mama knows. So the mama say, the mama say that girl, ooh, no, honey, no. And if you listen, you think it'll be right. I don't know. It depends on the mother. So did that happen for you as well, or just your homeboy?
oh, I'm not married, but that just happened to my
I mean, but
homeboy.
in
My mother
general, I'm
like,
just talking about in general, not married
oh
part.
yeah, that happened to me a couple times. My mother just like, nah, I don't like her. I'm like, all right,
And so
cool.
you stopped liking the girl because your mama said that?
No, no, I didn't. I didn't stop liking her, but when things went astray and went left, I just came back. My mother was like, damn, you was right. Like, that's that. And what I'm trying to get out of you is like, what's the like? I know my dad with my sister was just like, it was kind of just basic, like, make sure he take care of you, he treat you right, and blah blah blah. It was never like I straight up don't like him. It was just, let me see how he play it out first. But my dad knew as well, because my dad was out there like that as well. He like, nah, he ain't for you as well. I could see his moves. I'm peeping all his moves before he do it.
Okay, well, I will say this. So for me, I believe in a hierarchy. My first thing is, what does God say? This is me now.
Okay,
So I'm saying, okay, now
okay.
is this the man that I prayed about? Is this the man that God wants me to have? That type thing. And then from there, and then I check it with myself, and then I would say I would go ask my parents or whoever I consider to be family about it. And it's more like for them to like give their okay. They even have
Hmm.
reality shows about this, get the okay from the family thing. But and sometimes the situation's already broken up. It never could work, but they're trying to get the blessing of someone else involved with it. So I mean, it just depends on how you make your decisions. And I think it's important that everyone has some kind of decision making tree, not just based on what someone else says, but just based on more than that. So that if the breakdown is jacked up and your mama said yes, you don't blame her for the rest of your life because she told you to marry this woman that you that just didn't have it together. It's just taking responsibility for your stuff. That's just my thought on it. I've never really had
Yeah.
that scenario. I mean, I'm not sure. My mother did tell me, I sent you to school. You're gonna go and get that old low life, blah 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 blah. And so yeah, I believed it. And I think back as I've gotten older, damn, that was a good man. It was a good man, but then I think she was thinking, to her credit, nah, you want somebody on your level. But it in that situation, but I had to look at her relationships. Hold on now. what was going on in her relationships. Wait a minute, nobody don't want to talk about that. So I mean, as you go through life, you look at different things and you be like, gosh, and you know, even try to go back and pull that person. Now it's too late. Now it's over. That's your past. So you have to be responsible for your decisions you make. You have to say, no, this is what I prayed about it. I want it, or whatever your higher being, power, whatever you believe. But it just can't be on that one person.
Yes,
That's
I've
me.
dated sons of single moms, and since their sons were the man of the house, they didn't want their sons to be with any woman. My grandmother was the same way with my dad.
Wow. Mm.
Well, to answer that, were they teenagers? Because teenagers don't like nobody, and the only person they want their mother or father to be with is the mother and their father. And teenagers don't like anybody.
Well, did she respond back?
No,
Mm.
no, she didn't respond back yet. But I mean that's a different thing. Sons being a man in the house. Now, how old were these children? Because at the end of the day, mama still got to do what she got to do as well. Them kids gonna leave the nest one day, and you don't want to be stuck in there because
Well,
you decided
yeah,
to just sit around.
yeah. Well, you know, they always say, you know, boys cling to the mom and girls to the dad. You know, when you look at all, you know, history and psychology, that's what they say. You know, but what does all that really mean? Does it really mean when the woman says, "Little man, that's my man, that's my man"? You know, people think that that's cute, but sometimes a young man really do feel like he is a man. And then as he gets older, you know, he really feels that way, like he doesn't want you to have anybody else. So I mean, you know,
Uh,
I think we make those. I think we plant those seeds sometimes.
so you ain't no man in this house till you pay one of these damn bills.
Okay, okay. So then they get older, they get a little job, and then they paying the bill. You know, in fact, you taking the check. Then what?
Um, nah, I wouldn't do none of that. I mean, I think it's different, and this is one of the things I've learned from one of my good friends at work. And his son paid him rent for maybe 2 years, and he saved the money. And when his son
Okay,
moved out, he
he
gave
gave
his
it to
son the
him.
money back,
Yeah,
gave it back to him,
yeah.
and said, "This is for you to go start your life,
Right,
which you
right.
you know buy your furniture and do all of that.
Now that's a
Like
parent.
you know,
Right,
yeah." He said, "I had to take the money from you to let you know that you can't live nowhere for free,
right, right,
but
right,
I didn't spend it. I saved it.
right.
I,
That's a
I
parent.
saved it, and yeah." So that's what he did. That was a valuable lesson. Like you can't live nowhere for free. And I think, with this age of, you know, these kids today believe they can live wherever for free. No, you can't.
Sure can't.
You can't live for free nowhere, man. And I don't think they understand that. I think this generation has this age of entitlement that you're
Mm-mm.
supposed to give this, you're supposed to do
Mm.
this for me. Just because I birthed you and had you and made you, no, it stops at some point
Right,
in time.
right, right, right,
it
right.
it
Well,
stops.
I don't know. That whole
And
paying
I think,
thing. I mean, I understand women love their boys and stuff, but they eventually want to be someone's husband. I mean, at least I hope so. And so you do want to make those valuable lessons, but a lot of times we don't.
I mean, I
We
get
don't.
it, and we live in a stereotypical world where, as though, someone told me before, they said men have to move out the house. Women can stay there as long as forever, because a man in certain cultures that does happen,
Hmm.
but as in the and and as African American culture, women will not date a man that still lives home as past a certain age, unless his mother or somebody's disabled and they have to be there to take care of him. If they're fully functional and you're just living in your mama's basement, you got a good job, she might not talk to you. But whereas though on the flip side, she can still be living home and doing whatever she's doing, and we'll go ahead and take that chance. Vice versa, same with like a woman with multiple children, 3, 4 children. A man might not want to be serious with her because she has all these children. But on the opposite foot, a man can have multiple children, and some women still probably want to talk or date him.
I don't know. Maybe it's just different in my time. When I got out of high school, I wasn't coming back home. I went to college, true that, but I thought I was grown. I didn't want to come back home. I didn't even want to come home during the break, to be honest with you. Because you know how you out there and you think you're doing your thing, and you can go late, stay out late at night, and she wasn't having that. I was ready to be grown. I really was. So
Right.
after high school, college, I didn't go back home. I mean, she was supportive if I really needed something, but it had to be real tight. I mean, I never. But it's interesting. But with the young men in my family, it wasn't like that. They stayed home. See, so it's just different. It's
I
just
get
different.
you. Kind of like my grandmother I was talking about earlier. Rest her soul. She was like, "Nah, you're a man. You out here. You gotta have your own thing. Only way you had to come in here with a lie to him. Like, grandma, I need medicine for I'm dying. I need medicine to get the money. You just want to get it out of it." I would date a man that lived with his parents because I roll that comment back if you can. I left home at
Yeah,
17 and never
yeah,
desired to look back. I would
right.
date a man that lived with his parents because I believe in group economics. If he's
Yeah,
helping them pay off their house, that's dope.
that's cool.
But Miss Tash, that's you're rarely going to find that he's helping them pay off their home.
I
So
mean, that would be nice. But if you're living at home and you're saving money, you should be saving money. I mean, if you're not paying any bills, you should have a dope bank account. I mean, it should just be. But that's not happening. That's not happening.
well, I mean that doesn't happen because today's society, your bank account is empty, but you got all types of belts and Jordans.
Yeah, well,
Society has all back, has changed. Perfume and cologne has replaced deodorant. GoFundMe has. I'm not lying to you. GoFundMe has replaced insurance policies.
oh God. Well, I mean, you
You
gotta
know,
have a standard. You gotta have a standard. I've always said. I remember when I wanted to get into designer bags. If I didn't have that amount of cash in my purse at any time, I couldn't get that bag. That was
right?
just my own self stuff. So I don't
And,
get that. Why would I
and
buy a bag and I don't have that much money in my bag?
that's what my old coworker told me. If you can't buy it twice, you shouldn't buy it. So
I
I'm,
never
I'm
heard
just
that
saying,
one.
and yes, each that is true. Like perfume and cologne has, supplemented for new deodorant and showers, and GoFundMe is the new life insurance policy. Like,
Well, I mean, everybody want to look good, be good, so I get that part. But it shouldn't get you to a place where you can't like live. You're going out to buy. Well, I was so surprised when I found out you have to get online to get the new sneakers. Like you got to get a ticket and all this kind of stuff. I had
hmm
never heard of it.
yeah,
And parents do that for their children.
yes, they do it for their children, but who are the children doing it for? They doing it for the gram, social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook.
And nobody
Uh,
wants their kid to look lame or square or whatever.
Yeah, like I said earlier in the conversation, the internet you can be whoever you want to be. In my mind, on the internet, I'm 6'5". Until you see me in real life, like,
Whatever. Don't look. Don't sleep on the short dude. Whatever.
oh, I'm 5'9". I'm average height, so I'm actually okay.
Okay, so that's
So
what's up. Speak it up. Speak it up.
I'm average height. I'm not worried about that. I don't
But I'm just
pay
saying,
any of
the
that
way you
no
said
attention.
that though, people can be who they want to be online.
Yeah, you can. You can
What
be who
about
you
being
want to
who you
be.
hmm?
Nobody wants to be who they are because when you look at Facebook every day, everybody has the perfect marriage, everybody has the perfect kids, everybody's rich. This is like this big facade, and the internet creates that. It just creates that. You can be who you want to be. You know,
Yeah.
why can't I say I look like Denzel or something like that? It's, that's what they do. I mean, the internet creates these facades, and people realize this whole fantasy world that they live in, start becoming true. Where when they start living a lie, they don't know the lie is happening
Right.
anymore. They're living it.
Right.
Like when you lying so much, you don't remember what the hell going on no more.
Well, I never really truly understood that until I moved to Georgia and saw all these big, fine, pretty houses and get in the house and not a lick of furniture. I said, what? Why would you buy this house if you can't afford to furnish it? You know. So I mean, it's about what's important to you. If that's important to you,
Yeah,
that's people. Listen, people gonna do what they want to do with their money and their time. I believe that firmly. So I don't
they
care
are.
what you say. Ain't gonna do it. So
Yes, perception and appearance has taken over humility and moral values to an extent. It has.
yeah, it has.
It has. And like my homeboy told me, he said that IG model you chasing, she's sleeping on a mattress on the floor.
Or better yet, in her car. What? What you talking about? She living in the car.
Yeah. I mean, and since you brought that up before we go out, because we got to get to the segment I'll Be Damned, and I'll Be Damned is like a 6 minutes thing where I explain the story and you get to break it down about horrible dates that happen. Um, but like I was going to say, it has to be some type of mental illness with these women. They went to All Star Weekend and was sleeping in U-Hauls
Okay.
in Atlanta. They went to Atlanta, Georgia, sleeping in U-Hauls. Just
Because
to
why? Because
because All Star Weekend NBA, there's a lot of celebrities, a lot of money down there.
right. So they're sleeping in the U-Haul just to be able to dip out and go get the celebrity or have sex with somebody.
Hopefully they can get one.
Oh.
There
Well,
has to
some
be a
people are
mental
not.
illness.
Okay, so that's something people want to do with their time. Okay, so there's nothing you can do about that. But you're
Okay,
saying that says a lot about the mental psyche of the female. Is that what you're
whoever
saying?
was doing it, whoever was
Hmm.
doing
Right.
it, whoever was doing it,
Yeah.
sleeping in
Well,
a
so
U-Haul.
now you can open up a whole nother can of wax, but I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. But a lot of women, I'll say this and I'm gonna leave it. A lot of women in Atlanta that I've dealt with, professional women, feel like, first of all, it's so much woman on man, everybody on each other type thing going on that they don't really
Okay,
know. They just whatever. People just seem to be doing whatever. So far as the groupie kind of girl, that's some ladies that come to me. That's what they say to me. But I just still feel it should go back to the old fashioned way. Girl meet boy, boy meet girl. I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying anything is wrong with the way that happens. I think if that floats your boat, fine. But when people and you made the statement, maybe there's something going on with their mental psyche. It might just be that's just what they like. At least it's what they think they like.
I mean,
What
hey,
you gonna do?
I get it. I get it because we did a show a couple weeks, about swinging and all of that. We did that, so I understand. It's a lifestyle.
Right, and
Some people
it's their
enjoy it.
choice. So I'm not trying to down their choice or make their choice seem wrong. But if that's
Hmm.
not my choice, and that's what a lot of people are doing, it just seems like it makes my choice slimmer and slimmer and slimmer and slimmer because there's just so many different options and opportunities out here.
It
Yeah.
is. It definitely is. Definitely is. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna make sure I got it loaded up. So we're gonna slide over to I Be Damn. I Be Damn this week takes place. I forgot where they originally from, but it takes place in Miami, and it's on a birthday. So here goes this week's edition of I Be Damn. Oh, I didn't know. Could you hear it?
No.
All right, I thought something was wrong. Why it wasn't coming through? Because it's actually here.
So other people
So
are
let me.
saying it on the street or something.
Yeah, I have another I have something running in the back so I can see the questions as well. And I was wondering why it wasn't showing up on there as well. So
Okay.
let me see if I can find it. I know I have it. I just did it, and it's not coming up again. What is this? No, that is. Uh, Let me see if I can get it to come up really quick. Um, well, maybe I might have to just read the whole thing, but read it again. Yeah, it's not playing Black Mama. I don't know why is this thing always act up. I don't know why it act up. Why it's acting up because it wasn't acting up earlier. It definitely wasn't acting up earlier. So anyway, I'll have to play it back. So basically, what happens in the story, because I seem to can't get it loaded up, is not saving to the actual computer like it's supposed to. Um, but here's the trailer. Is it in a drive? All right, let me see. There's always a difficulty with this thing. Uh, did it make it to the drive yet? No, it didn't make it to the drive yet. All right, so basically, what wound up happening in this story is, um, so this guy, he takes his girlfriend to um, Miami for a birthday. He
Okay.
says he didn't have any money from the beginning. Oh, let me try one more thing so I can see if I can get this to work. Let me see if I can get this to work one more time. Is the video file? I think we got it. I think we got it. Well, good evening. It's time for another episode edition of I'll Be Damned. You know, I'll Be Damned goes through hard day stories, and tonight's day story takes place on a woman's birthday in Miami, Florida. In the 305 it takes place. So she says this to me, Rod. So I have been with this guy for 7 months, and we decided to go to Miami for my birthday. I was excited because this is our first trip together. I just knew that we would have such a wonderful time. Before we left, he was saying that his money was tight and that he couldn't go overboard on the trip. My man, didn't you know that you were planning to go here ahead of time? Why didn't you save some money, especially when your salary trumps mine and then some? He didn't pay for my flight or hotel expense. So I was unclear as to how broke he really was, but I didn't want to press the issue. We arrived, checked into our hotel, and headed to the bar to meet his friend Lisa from high school, from who happened to live in South Beach at the time. I wasn't pressed to drink, but I knew my man was having money issues. I wanted to spend my money on doing a little birthday shopping in some of South Beach hottest boutiques, and besides, the liquor stores were open, and I was perfectly content with getting a bottle and partying in my room. You dig? And she said, LOL. Lisa was at the bar with a couple, Kenny and Amy. Very cool couple, by the way. And they were taking shots of black tequila. Apparently, it was coffee Patron, and I've never had any at the time. So to break us in, Kevin bought my man and me a few rounds. So the shots were going down. This shit is disgusting. My man actually liked it, and he took a few more shots with a couple and Lisa. Well, with the couple and Lisa.
I guess my man felt obligated to return the favor, so he decided that he would showboat by ordering rounds and rounds of liquor for everybody. Stuntman like Evil Knievel. The bill came and it was well over $100. And immediately my man whipped out his credit card. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are you doing? Didn't you say you didn't have any money? So why the fuck are you buying these people all of this liquor? I looked at him in complete shock. And before I could utter a word, he said, it's cool. I got it. Okay, if you say so. The next day arrived and guess what? It's my birthday. Yay. I woke up with a little pep in my step because I was blessed to see another year, and my man gave me a cute little silver heart necklace for my special day. How sweet. He and I got dressed, hopped into the rental, and drove to one of my favorite little diners off the beaten path. Breakfast was delicious as expected, and I knew the day was only going to get better. But then the bill came, and everything went downhill. The bill was all of 17 for the both of us. My man looked at me and said, I ain't got it. $17, $34 a piece. I ain't got it. Stop playing with me. Now I'm serious. I told you I didn't have any money before we came out here. Hold up. Last night you were acting like P. Diddy at the bar, spending over hundreds of dollars buying strangers rounds and rounds of drinks, and now you telling me all of a sudden you don't have any money for a $17 tab? It's my birthday. I told you the situation before the trip. Hold up, shit. It's funny how your situation only applies to me, your girlfriend, and not some damn strangers. The purpose of coming here in the first place was to celebrate my birthday, and this is how you treat me. You look out for strangers as not your own woman and can't pay $17 for a fucking meal? That's messed up. So I got up, threw 20 on the table, and walked out. I was pissed to the fifth power. He came out behind me and was even more pissed. On the way back to the hotel, he told me that I embarrassed him. How could I do that? And blah, 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 blah. I don't care. You didn't have to leave me in a restaurant like that. You didn't have to leave me hanging on my birthday. You should have planned better. If it was your birthday, I wouldn't be spending money frivolous on other people and completely neglect you on your special day. I already told you I didn't have no money though. I don't care what you said. Your actions proved otherwise. You know what? I'm done with this conversation because I want to enjoy the rest of my birthday, so let's drop it. He kept running his damn mouth anyway, and I just didn't want to hear it. I turned on the radio. This dude yanked my hand with a kung fu grip, pushed it away while driving away, and told me, get the fuck off the radio, and I don't give a fuck if it's your birthday. You're going to listen to me. Would you believe this dude cursed me out the entire ride back? Fuck the date. Fuck the date. The relationship is over. So sadly, the trip didn't end at that point. I should have just packed my bags and got the hell out of there. But stupid me, I stayed. I was so hurt and shocked that I completely shut down for the rest of my trip. I kept my distance and ignored him for the most part. Of course, I could have handled things better at the restaurant, but the bottom line in my eyes was that he should have looked out for me on my birthday. Don't spend over $100 on complete strangers when you claim you can't afford to spend $17 on your own woman. When the trip ended, we got back home. I broke up with him, unfortunately. I fell for his sobbing tearful apology a few weeks later, and we got back together. Too bad I didn't pay close enough attention to his abusive nature during our trip to Miami. But that was not the last of his violent behavior. Tis, tis, tis. I'll be damned. See you next week, man.
that's what normally happens in these stories. So before we go, how would you break that down?
He told her up front what it was. She didn't want to believe it. That's
Okay.
just how I see it. The
So he
man
told up
told you
front, but
he
then
didn't
he go
have any money, and you gonna take it a whole nother way. You gotta believe what people tell you. He was wrong. Now let's get that straight. His whole thing was wrong. He shouldn't even won. He should have just them little $100. He could say, "Look, baby, here's $100 right here. That's all I got." And he should have stayed
yeah,
home. You know, damn.
it tripped me out when I was reading it. When I first saw it, I'm like, you couldn't afford $34, but you just had $100 last night.
Well, that probably
So
who knows where them $100 came off that little card. Who knows how that goes? But I'm just saying, he was in that moment, and I guess he felt good about it. But nah, that ain't what's up. And like someone said, that's not the first time that's happened. I'm sure. You know.
probably not. His disruptive behavior after 7 months. So yeah, that is crazy. But yeah, that happened down in Miami
Wow.
for her birthday. And I know how, people take their birthday seriously.
Yeah. Well, you know, they said that's your day of celebration. That's celebrating life, right?
Well, yeah, and she didn't celebrate pretty much. So
Wow.
other than that, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Sitting and talk to me. Where can they reach you with if they want to, talk to you, if they want to know more about you?
Okay, so my website is www.drteresaholt.com, and my email is drteresa@att.net.
Okay. You want to put that on the screen? It should be coming on the screen right now.
Okay.
So next week we got a treat. I won't be here next week to do Amsterdam talk. Females are taking over the show next week, and they want to talk about the abortion laws in America, especially down in Texas and Florida.
Oh
I
wow.
felt as though I felt as though I can't talk about that because so I'm taking off next week.
Okay.
There'll still be an episode of I'll Be Damned, but the show will be hosted by nothing but women next week. So we can
Nice.
talk about abortions, you know, my body, my choice. They can talk about all that. You won't hear Pete from me next week, except for doing I'll Be Damned. So until then, I'll see you next when. Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks with domestic violence. But women next week will see you next week about my choice, my body, the abortions in America, especially the laws that's going on down in the South right now. So see you next week, 9 p.m. same time, Wednesday night, 10:13 next week. Thank you again, Dr. Hope, for coming.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.